Welcome to Don't Panic Geocacher. I'm here to talk to you about mystery caches and how to get started with mystery caches. My name is Arjen and I go by Wordofin5 on the geocaching.com website, and I'm here to tell you how to get started and to no longer be afraid when you see a mystery cache symbol. So what is a mystery cache? A mystery cache is a special cache type identified by the blue question mark icon. This means that you have to do something extra to sign this mystery cache. Now in my channel, I talk a lot about puzzle caches. That is a specific type of mystery cache. And I'm going to show you how you can recognize between all the mystery caches which one are puzzle caches. Now note with a mystery cache, it means that it's often not hidden at the posted coordinates, but somewhere else. Since 2006, this means that it is in the 2-mile radius or the 3.2-kilometer radius. And so let's take a look at the different variety of mystery caches. So these are some of the attributes to look for. If you see an attribute that looks like this, like a field puzzle, it means that a puzzle needs to be solved to open the cache. So this is typically at the cache location, but this doesn't have to be at the posted coordinates. This can still be at that you have to solve the cache location. Beacon is an old system that sometimes you still see some GPSs supported, but it's not commonly used. But it means that you need a physical chirp device to get the cache coordinates. You may also see a night symbol. This means that the cache is recommended at night, and often you see the flashlight symbol as well. That means, for example, that reflectors might be used so that with the flashlight you can see the reflectors, follow the trail. It's a lot of fun, typically recommended in the group, and it's a special type of almost a field puzzle that you have to do to find the cache location. The next one is a challenge attribute. This means it's a challenge cache. You have to meet certain criteria to find this cache and to be able to log the cache for that particular date. So this is a special type. Often it comes with a challenge checker to see if you meet the criteria. And the criteria could be like you have to have found 100 caches, or you have to have found caches on different days of the week. There's all kinds of special criteria. Another special attribute is the bonus attribute. So it means that you have to find other caches in a series to find this cache. They have the information that is needed to open this cache or to find the cache location. Often this is done in combination with an adventure lab, a special type of geocaching cache. And so you have to do the adventure lab first, and that will give you the cache location. So all of these types means that you're not dealing with a puzzle cache, but most likely with something else. If you see this, not a field puzzle, it is a good indication that you're dealing with a puzzle that can be solved from home. But again, it's not mandatory. So there is other ways to recognize it. The typical hint is that this cache is not at the posted coordinates or similar text. Um, Often reviewers mandate this that it's on the cache page if this is the case, and so look out for a text that says something like that. Also make sure it doesn't say visit the posted coordinates, the opposite of it. That means that you have to go to the posted coordinates. So this is important text to look out for to see if it's there. That means that you're dealing with a puzzle cache. Another good indicator is that there is a geochecker on the page. Now here you see some variety of what they may look like. This is called the Certitude Geochecker. This is the standard geocaching.com checker, and this is the GeoCheck checker. All of them basically write you an answer to verify that you have solved the puzzle correctly. So this means that there is typically a puzzle. Note, still doesn't mean that the puzzle is not at the coordinates where you go first, but it is a good indication that there might be something to do from home. Be aware, the checker doesn't always require a coordinate like this. Sometimes they require a keyword. Especially Certitude allows you to do keyword caches. So that is something to look out for. But if you have done a puzzle, solved a puzzle, then you can verify your answer and make sure that your answer is correct before going to the cache location. Another good indicator is that there is an additional waypoint, that it looks something like this, that says final location and then question mark. This means that there is something to be solved. So these are all good indicators that you're dealing with puzzle caches. So now you know how to recognize a puzzle cache. They come in different difficulties. So there's a star rating system, but this star rating system doesn't have to be for the puzzle. It could be for the hide. But still, it is good advice to look at the star rating system and start with something simple. 5-star difficulties could be a very difficult hide, but often also a very difficult puzzle. So if you're new to puzzling, a 1-star might be a good one to start. This again is not hard enforced, so sometimes it can be a 1-star rating with a very difficult puzzle. I've seen them. Not often, but it can happen. So be aware. So now that we know what puzzle caches are, we can maybe take a look at one. So how do you solve them? Well, the good news is I have lots of videos. So if you go to my channel, you can find lots of videos on examples of puzzle caches and how to solve them. There's lots and lots and lots of variety. And there's lots of technical things that you may need to know and experience. If you're a beginner at mystery caches, I highly recommend to look at my videos to get familiar with the different puzzle caches, because otherwise you will be completely lost at the beginning and it will get very frustrating. And I don't want you to panic. I want you to be happy with mystery caches and get good at it. One way to get good at it is, of course, practice. Solve some more. The more you solve, often the easier they get. That doesn't mean you can solve all of them. Not all puzzle caches are easy to solve, but practice definitely helps. And always make sure that you understand what you're looking for. Am I looking for a coordinate or for a keyword, or maybe only some of the numbers of a coordinate? And again, my videos will help you a lot with learning more about puzzle caches. But let's take a look at an example. So here's an example. Um, this is an archived one. It's an older one. That way I don't spoil anything. In this case, it's very far away from me, but it is a good example of what a mystery cache is. So it says here it's a pretty easy one, and we can see that by the star rating 1.5. Now you see me solving this on in my case, a laptop. I highly recommend always solving things on a laptop. On the phone, a lot of them are very hard to solve. Other thing is to look at the attributes. Now we don't see any specific attributes, but we do see this one, Geochecker enabled. This is a good attribute to verify that there is something to be solved, as I mentioned. It's not always there, but if the built-in checker is used, this will be there. So in this case, we see indeed this solution checker here, and this will help us verify our answers. There's another thing here. The cache is not located at the posted coordinates. This is a puzzle cache. All information that will help us tell that we're dealing with a puzzle. And now we can read about what we need to do. There's some introductory text, talk about non-puzzlers that often don't want to deal with mystery caches, and this cache is to help with that. So I think it's a good one to use as an example. Now this one requires some basic math, and we see here something important. We see here a so-called partial coordinate. So if we look at the coordinates, then you see that some of the numbers have been replaced with letters. So this is normally there's numbers here displaced with letters. This means this is the part that we need to solve. The rest is a given. So we know 35 and 00 are correct. We need the other 6 digits. And as mentioned, it is a math puzzle. So we just need to solve the math question. A is 3 squared, so that is 9. So A will be 9, so we can fill in 9 at the location of the A. 2 squared is 4, so we put in 4 as the next one. And remember, this part was correct because that was given. Sometimes you have to solve for the entire coordinates, sometimes it may be a keyword or something else. But we're basically going to do the rest. So square root of 4, so it would be 2. The digit before the period in pi, that is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And 10 minus 3 is 7. Now I'm purposely going to fill it in wrong so you can see what happens. So I put in 6 instead of 7. I verify that I'm a human, and I say check solution. And you see that it is wrong and that I have 9 tries left. These 9 tries last for 10 minutes. After that it resets again. You get again 10 tries. But if I do it correct, you now see that it says correct and it's so-called green, and my coordinates have now updated at the page. So the original coordinates, and we can still see that if we click the little pencil, these were the original coordinates. And we can actually restore the original coordinates if we want to, like this. So now we have the original coordinates back. So this is important because if you have solved it, this checker will automatically update the coordinates. But you can also do it manually like this, and then just copy and paste your answer in the system like this. And so now we have the answer, we say accept, and now the cache is updated on the cache page. I also typically leave a note. So in this case, I say, this is the month that I solved it. And I say something like a simple math puzzle. Something that will help me remember what the puzzle was in case I'm in the field. And it's like, was there anything special? Or sometimes people will ask for hints as well on puzzles. So it gives you an idea later on how it was solved in case you need to solve a similar puzzle. Save this note. And now I'm done. You see also after you've solved it, that, and I can do that when I do a refresh, we will see that the icon has changed. I will show that later on. This is a disabled one, but you get an extra icon to indicate that it is solved. So we're done with this puzzle. So this was a good example of, in this case, a pretty easy puzzle cache that was solved pretty quick. Now you saw me do a couple of other things, and I recommend you do the same. That is, use the description to store your solution. You may need it again later to remember how does this solve again, especially for more complicated ones. And then you saw me update the coordinates. The built-in checker did it automatically, but I also showed you how to do it manually. This is important so you know where to go, so that you don't go to the posted coordinates, but that you go to the new coordinates. So this was the Getting Started episode. Now you can take a look at the other ones. If you want to stay up to date about new videos, then I recommend you subscribe. That way um, you, you get informed about new videos. Feel free to leave a comment if you think this was helpful. If you're an experienced cacher, most likely you didn't learn anything new, but a lot of people are new to mystery caches and hopefully this will be helpful. If you want to contact me, you can reach me, waterfan5. My name is Arjen, and you can also email me at geocacher.waterfan5@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I hope that you can all have some fun with mystery caches.